Happy Wednesday. Happy scoping out. Triffany Hammond here, coming at you in the fashion mullet, but you'd never know it because I'm business on the top, yoga pants and fuzzy socks on the bottom. Nice and comfy cozy. I'm so glad that you're here today because we are talking about something that seems to be part of just a collective story we all share. People are selfish, people are mean, people are just out to get their own gain in the world, right? And I'm hearing it constantly, and I'm hearing it from all directions. So I wanted to talk about that today and maybe put a little bit of a plan in place for how to mitigate some of that and maybe even switch it and turn it around. Golly, says people are assholes. See, it's out there. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about, just very briefly, because this topic is actually really deep and really broad. If you want to learn more, you can visit my website at tiffanyhammer.com/conscious transitions, home course in grief and growth, because what we're going to be talking about is grief. What you need to understand about grief is, in just a couple of minutes I have, yes, we have our trajectory. You know, there's denial, there's anger, there's bargaining, sadness, and acceptance, right? And thank you. It is amazing. Those of you who have ever used the tools or looked into any of this, yeah, the course is amazing, not grief. Thank you for that recommendation. So what we begin to understand is, yes, we have, these stages. We talk about them as if they're linear, and in fact, they're not. They're all intermingled. They're all tangled up. And very often, if people don't, in a healthful way, go through their grief, they get stuck. They get stuck between denial and anger. That is one of the biggest ones. The next one is anger and bargaining. And if you look at those two are the biggest places where people get stuck when they haven't moved through their grief. Anger is that biggest piece right there, right? So most of the time, people are quagmired. They're just like sucked in this vortex of anger. Now remember, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've talked about anger as a cover emotion. It is not anger for anger's sake. It is anger as a cover for betrayal, frustration, confusion, disheartenment, loss of hope, so many different things. And when those things don't get addressed, when those things don't get talked about and healed and allowed to play their course as an opportunity for personal growth, when that doesn't happen, it turns into anger. So these people out there, and people are assholes, Colleen says, most everyone, if you think about the very first time you experienced loss or hurt or trauma, for most of us, that was very, very young. And chances are good we were not raised by somebody who knew how to help us navigate that, knew how to do that in a healthful way, right? So if that didn't happen, that just sat there. And we can suck it up, buttercup, and we can get past it, right? That's our denial. It's fine. It's fine. And then it comes up in a whole new circumstance, doesn't it? I thought I dealt with that already. I thought that was behind me. Why is this coming up now? Why are my daddy issues coming up now? Why is it, right? Like all of these things pop up in a whole new circumstance. And unfortunately, a lot of the times with a bigger consequence, because we still had that opportunity for growth that we missed. Right? So now we have this whole new circumstance that is bigger and badder and harder to deal with. And guess what that does? That just confirms the story we had from before, that people are mean, that nobody cares about me but me, or whatever your story is. Everything that you're doing to try to just push it behind you and move forward, there actually will be a time when the proof, right? Because there's lots of proof it's false. We just happen to be ignoring it. Thank you, confirmation bias. That proof will pop up and it'll just confirm that story. And you'll have a mountain of proof for why everybody's an asshole, right? So what begins to happen is people are showing up in the world very injured. So if you think about that, your first trauma, your first hardship, your first grief, whatever, if that happened when you were very young, how many of those have you had since that you didn't deal with? How many of those have you had since that have just compiled on top? Right? And that's just you. And you're here. You're being conscious. You're participating in this conversation. You're looking for growth. What about those people that haven't and aren't? Right? Those people are still out there muddling around in the world trying to put the stuff behind them and move forward, and they're just as stuck. Yeah, shelf it and move on, right? And there's a there's an argument for that, right? There's a reason denial exists in the grief phase, right? It gets us through the necessary stages of survival. You know, it gets us onto that next day. It gets us filing the paperwork. It gets us doing whatever it is we need to do. So that shelf it and move on isn't inherently bad. It's just meant to be temporary. It's not meant to be permanent. And so what ends up happening is all of the confusion, frustration, betrayal, abandonment, all of that other stuff isn't getting dealt with. It isn't getting talked about. You're not the only one. It's okay. And so what we want to do is we want to find a safe and healthy way to be able to deal with our own grief. Can I keep everybody else from being an asshole? No, I can't. Can I make them do their healing? No, I have no power over that. But what I can do is I can heal my stuff. I can bring my stuff to the forefront. When I've taught you guys the toddler game. If you're not aware of it, go get my book, Fail to Win. It's on Amazon. It's in there. It tells you exactly how to play it, but it's layers and layers of questions. So when you find that you're angry, what am I really angry about? Why does that make me angry? Why is that bad? Why is that hurtful, right? And it digs down until you get to that source, right? Now you have, you love my book. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. It is so useful, and tools like this toddler game really help you get down to the root. So we're no longer treating symptoms. We're down to the root. And the moment you identify what that issue is, the moment you are empowered to do something about it, is the moment you are empowered to change it and heal it. Now, how is that going to affect anybody outside of yourself? Directly? Maybe not, right? But what happens when you show up to a conversation about how everybody's an asshole, for instance, and you have a different dialogue? What happens if you're sitting there going, I just think everybody's really hurt. I think everybody has a lot of healing to do. And, the people are still defensive and they're still upset. They should get their work and they should do it themselves. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it. It's hard. It takes a long time. You begin to change that conversation in a non-judgmental way because you understand that these people are hurt too. The people calling people assholes are hurt. You're hurt. They're hurt. We're all a bunch of wounded warriors out there doing the best that we can, right? But when you show up differently and you plant that seed, perhaps, maybe somebody else goes, there is another way to see this. Or they see that you have peace of mind in the midst of assholes, right? They see that you can be happy regardless of who you're around. That is so powerful because they're going to look at you and they're going to go, I want me some of that. I want to be at peace. I want to be happy. I'm sick and tired of pointing the finger at everybody else. That makes me feel bad as a person. I want to be more compassionate. They may not. That's not why you do the work. You do the work to heal yourself. But one of the nice benefits is, number one, you do plant those seeds and that you do create that opportunity for somebody else to have a new perception. Number two, you stop attracting people who are railing against the world. They don't have a home here in peace, right? If they are defending everything and honoring nothing, they are not going to feel comfortable in your energy. They're just not. They're going to feel judged. They're going to feel like you're just a different kind of asshole. They're going to, whatever they're going to come up with, they're not going to stick. So the new people, yes, ooh, hallelujah. The new people that come into your life are going to go, where's my work? Tell me how you got there. And they're going to call you on your shit too. They're going to be the ones. Colleen's a perfect example. I'm so glad she's on the scope today. They're going to be the ones too going, ooh, wait a second. That's your story. That's not truth. Watch yourself. Watch your language. Oh, right? So now you have a community that begins to change your story, which begins to change your belief, which further changes your habits. And now you get to be proof, whether somebody else is willing to see it or not, out in the world, that not everybody is an asshole, right? She says BFF is a life coach. It's a blessing and a curse. I love you, Colleen. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Be the kind of person who honors everything and defends nothing, right? There's nothing to defend. It's all opportunity. It's all growth. It's all available to us should we use it. Because those people who are defending everything and honoring nothing are so hurt and so raw that they are not ever going to be able to shift something without a complete life-changing experience. Don't make it get that bad, right? So that's your homework. That's my homework. Let's inspect our stuff. Let's do our healing. Remember, I've got that course in grief and growth. I've got the book. I also have the telecourse for Fail to Win. Make sure you're checking some of these things out. This is what I do. This is what I'm here for. So come join me on this journey. Be better, be happier, be peaceful. And I'll see you Wednesdays, 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Goodbye, my lovelies.